Man of the hour, the biggest fanatic of them all.
I know that's true.
Our president and CEO, Andy Albright.
All right, so we got some new people in the room that I want to chat with, and hopefully I can get the message out all across the country through this call about change, the truth about change. One of the first things I want to get to you is a little story that I need everybody to understand, and I need you to be able to repeat this story. I would love it. I would love it if my leaders would start repeating some of these little stories a little more often to get people educated and up to speed about life and how life works. It goes like this. There was a man up on a mountain, old man, perceived to be really, really wise, and everybody respected him. And these two young guys, they were out to make fun of him and make him look like an idiot. So they concocted this plan, and they went up to the old man. They went up on the hill, and they had a little bird they had caught. Little one of them little Tweety birds, like when you get in the store, you get them in. They didn't go out and catch one in the wild. They went to the, to the pet store and stole one. They ain't went through no effort because that's how they were. And they held one of the little boys held the bird behind his hands, and they asked the old man, "You're so smart. Is the bird that I have behind my back dead or alive, old man? You're supposed to know everything." And they had a game plan. If the old man said the bird is dead, they were going to lift it up and just let it fly away and go, "You an idiot." And I think they was going to put it on social media. I think they was filming it with a phone. And if it was going to embarrass the man. And they said, if the old man said that bird is alive, I can feel his heartbeat, I can feel his spirit, they was going to rip his head off while it was still behind his back, and he's going to take it apart in two pieces and then say, "Look there, you dumb old man, this bird is dead and you thought he was alive." So they got it all dramatized with the old man, and they said, "Which is it, old man? Say ye." And the old man looked at him and he said, "The bird is in your hands." And the kid's like, "What?" And he said, "It's in your hands. It is dead or it is alive. It is in your hands." He said, "That's the end of the conversation, kids. Be gone." So this is what most people don't get. It is in your hands. Change is in your hands. That's the biggest truth, is you get to choose. Dr. Seuss, how do you say his name? Seuss. He wrote a book, and it's one of the most popular books. It's probably over there on my shelf. I know it's in the store. One of the most popular high school graduation gifts ever. And it starts out with, "You've got feet in your shoes and brains in your head, and you can go whichever way you choose." That's the biggest thing, is you get to pick. Just like the Damon West story, where this guy he chose his way. He got, he had everything, and before him, a scholarship, athletic scholarship. It was, by the way, one of our agents went to college with Damon and saw Damon play his freshman year. I'm not sure if it was McGriff or Stan. I think it was Stan in Texas. He had everything, good parents, and he chose to go down a bad road, and for obviously lost a part of his life. Ended up in jail, or not in jail, in prison. But he chose change. He named his book The Change Agent. The truth about change is you get to choose. But people, you understand about the little bird? I always just look at people and go, like, "You understand what I'm saying? I almost want you to say it back to me." I'm not going to do it this time, but I want to. I might do it before the day's over with, because I don't know if people get the simplicity of it all when I'm talking a lot of times, sometimes either their eyes glaze over, they think I'm just talking, or they think I'm lying, they think I'm trying to trick them, and I'm going like, guys, this is not that complicated. What we're looking to do in 2020, and I know we're getting close, and we ain't finished with December. We called a couple of people in the last couple of days and said, hey, look, you could win the all-expense cruise to Alaska. And they were like, really? And I'm like, yeah, we've done the math, got a little calculator. You got 7 days a week between now and the end of the year. We pulled up the calendar and we did some math with them, and we showed them how simple it was to win. And they were just like, oh my God, I didn't know. See, it is funny when people don't know, they don't do. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to scream it to people, but you know what? A lot of these phone calls were one-on-one phone calls, and people don't pick up as much from a conference call for some other reason. Whether they think I'm talking to somebody else in the room, or I don't have their full attention. I think that's what it is. I don't have their attention. They're clipping their fingernails or watching television while they're listening. I don't know what, but I'm trying to get to you going like, I'm telling you this stuff. I don't make this stuff up. I've lived it. I've seen it live with Stephen Davies. I've seen it live with Andy Riddle. I've seen it live with Diane Lampy. I've seen it live with Paul Roberts. I've seen it live with Fitzgerald. I've seen it. Like one kid asked me last night, I said, Tillman, he asked me who I follow. And I was like, let me just explain that. Here's the way it works. I am the monkey up in the tree, pointing down, saying, there's a lion over there, there's water over here, there's quicksand over here, there's some grapes over here. I've seen what Diane Lampy's done, I've seen what Stephen Days, I've seen what Terry Edwards doing. So if I'm not going to trick you and tell you anything to hurt you. You with me? I'm that guy screaming. And if you want to change your situation, there's some simple steps to change that you can start taking. The first one that you need to make your mind up is you're in charge. You are responsible. You are to blame. If you don't do that, and a lot of people argue with me, they come up like a Philadelphia lawyer. They got all this logic behind them. Y'all know what a Philadelphia lawyer is. Oh, yeah. He's a good arguer. God, I just thought about 7 jokes, Terry, that I shouldn't even bring up. Let me get back on track. That'll be easy. My mother told me them when I was a child, and as I get older, numerous times. They argue with me that it's not their fault. You don't understand. I'm white in a black world. I'm black in a white world. I'm brown in a black and white world. That's going right there. One thing about that, what if you're brown in a black and white world? If you define the world as black and white and you're brown, or you got an accent, and I don't have an accent. That's what I'm telling you. But then people go like, I don't have your accent. I'm like, I ain't got an accent. They get in these arguments. You with me? And I'm going like, the only way, listen to me, the only way, Will, that you can get what you want is decide that the reason you don't have it is your fault right now. Now, okay, think about this. I know people that sell insurance right now that don't have life insurance with us.
Oh boy.
Believe that? They can't talk themselves into it. It's the craziest thing I've ever heard of. They can't talk themselves into it because they argue back. They've got reasons. They've got reasons that they talk themselves out of buying life insurance. So if you think a person can't talk himself into buying life insurance, do you think that same person can talk himself into believing that his life is his fault? That same guy is not going to be able to convince himself that it's his fault.
That's right.
So not only do you have to say it's your fault, you have to believe it's your fault.
I feel you.
Once you believe it's your fault, you can start thinking about how it's your fault and how to fix it. But if it's not your fault, then you can't fix it. And if you don't want it fixed, you see, trying to get somebody to do something they don't want to do is difficult.
Yeah.
I had one of my mentors through the years, he said, if a person changes fast, that'll tell you they want to change. If they're changing slow, that's their signal to you they don't want to change. W-A-N-T-T-O. They don't want to change. So the first thing on change is establishing that it's your fault and convincing yourself that it's your fault. Now, this is not put yourself down pity party. This is, if I had have done this, if I had have done that, all those things are okay to say. Now, going forward, here's what I'm going to do. And a lot of stuff you can't change. You can't change in 5 minutes or even a year. A lot of stuff's going to take you 90 days to change. That's why I kind of want to start changing for January 1 a little bit early, because I don't want to try to change December 25th. You with me? I want to start getting our mind right, and I'd like to see some people start coming around and getting their mind in this right direction of where we're going. So if you can figure out what you did. Now, let's cover when you didn't do anything, it just happened to you, okay? Like you got cancer, or you got something happened to you, you're short, whatever, you're tall. Okay, it's something that you can't control, all right? Yeah. Well, you need to understand that just is what is. Like, so now, what's it going to look like in other words, or if you got in a hole financially, you say, well, what happened was you come up with all these reasons. Okay, if you can either go with it's your fault or it is what it is. Either one. But if you go with your fault, either way, we got 5 action steps that we can start doing to fix something. That's why when I'm going through something, I'm dealing with a couple things right now, and a couple things with insurance carriers, and these are billion-dollar companies, and I got to start thinking. And I talked to Jim Henson, I talked to Jeff Bright, and I'm start thinking, what step can we take to fix? I remember my wife got cancer. At first, I tried to convince her that it wasn't real, and then when she wouldn't give up on that, I said, all right, what do we do next? And she's like, well, we've already called Winston-Salem Baptist, and I have an appointment. So in other words, she started working on it. In 12 months, she was completely healed. Now, while we're going through the process, the doctors asked her to talk to some other people about going to treatment. And I was like, what do you want her to do? Tell them what it's like? And they said, no, tell them to go to treatment. I was like, what? He was like, yeah. You would not believe how many people skip treatments. I was like, won't that kill them? He's like, yeah. He said it messes up our statistics too, because a certain percentage of the people that die with cancer could have been saved if they would have followed the system. And I'm sitting there going like, why in the Hades, why would somebody, given the solution, not take it? And I was young at the time. I see we would have been early 20s. And I would look around, I was like, how is it possible that somebody would just die without trying? And now, I'm 55, I've seen a lot of stuff of people that just stay broke, stay miserable. And I'm like, it's like them people that had cancer. You want to talk to them. So I'm devoted, I have devoted a large part of my life, and I'm devoting a large part of my future to talking to people, going like, it don't have to be this way. You can change. But first you got to say,
It's my fault.
Yeah, my fault. But it ain't your fault you had cancer. But it is what it is. You got cancer. You know, or there ain't no leads in my area. Okay, I got it. Okay, can we move on? Like I don't like these dramatization talks. It's like, what's next? What do I do? Guy was telling me he don't get excited. I said, dude, do you think I'm excited? I'm not excited. I just look and act excited. Right? I'm depressed right now, but I look excited. I look enthusiastic. It's because it's a do. And they want to talk about the cancer. They want to talk about the brokedom. I'm broke. I'm like, okay. Well, you don't understand. I can't buy any food. And I go like, yeah, I got it. I'm not a moron. I understand you're broke. Numbnuts. I didn't want to offend anybody with that word. Numbnuts. I'm not a numbnuts. Or a jacknut. Somebody said I could say jacknut. I don't even know what that means. I don't know what numbnuts means. But it means an idiot. That's not. I don't know what words are offensive. Y'all snowflakes got to stop it with the offensive things. God Almighty. I don't even know what that means really. I think it means easily offended. Is that true?
Snowflake?
Yeah. Easily offended. Crybabies. Oh, hypersensitive. That's what my book said. This hypersensitivity's got to go. All right. So what I'm saying is, quit talking about it. Like, I don't want to. I know I can't scream at you, but I can say, like, quit talking about it and let's talk about what to do. And now what you got? Now here's the thing. It's about, well, I did that. Oh. That's like saying I took a shower. That was last week you did that. You're going to have to take a shower over and over and over and over and over to be a clean person. You say, well, I took the shower, I was clean. You're going to have to do it over and over and over in order to be clean. You can't just take a shower one time. Making money's the same way. You got to make it and then make it and make it and make it. The closest thing I've not seen to making it is a dadgum distribution shaped like a Christmas tree. I like them things. Because you can sit down occasionally on a Christmas tree and the money will keep coming in. You know, so that's the closest thing. So if I were you, I would build a Christmas tree. But let me tell you something. Selling is simple with us. I did a conference call. I had some cool people on it. Corey Robinson was on there, Paige Clark, Brad Morisi. That is Mike Morisi's brother, Diane Lampy's nephew. Fred Butler, guy that Riddle hired. Eli Lazar. I thought Eli was your guy.
He's direct to Mia.
He's direct to Mia. Okay. Isaiah, Osuna's son. Jonathan Stern, the Carey's guy. Latasha, I like Latasha down in Charlotte. Tatenda, I believe that's right. Tatenda from Zimbabwe. He lives in California now. Down part of Ed Soto and what's his name? Brandon Beal. Martell and Antoine Tillman, your guy. Yeah. What I noticed is the ones that are making phone calls are making sales. It's like a direct correlation. It's not like this thing ain't working for me. Like we have 100% success rate from people that don't quit, and it seems like we get a ton of premium from people that make phone calls. Yep. Okay? So let me go a little bit back to change a little bit. Anytime you have a force holding something in place, this is a kind of an engineering description. Like there's a certain force holding this cup in my hand, and there's a certain force pushing it back up. When the force pushing it back up goes harder than the force, listen. So yeah, there's a force. You with me? The force going back up has to be stronger than the force coming in. And there's another thing called momentum. Like if I just sit here, if I set this coffee cup down, it's got a certain force, power rating that you can do on it. We did it in textiles a lot. We would measure the strength of fabric, and like Kevlar is a real strong one. That's why they can make bulletproof vests, because that force won't go through it. But if I drop this cup, it has speed and weight, and it gets momentum, so the force is greater. Mm-hmm. So momentum is a real thing. If you didn't understand that, it is a real, like it's not like luck at the casino where you think we get momentum. And I swear, I want to study that, because I want somebody to study that, because it seems like to me when you got momentum on the crap table, you just keep winning. You know what I mean? The only thing is it will come crashing down too quick sometimes. You know, but it's I don't want to get off on that. So the goal is January 1 to have momentum going in. Mm-hmm. And so what happens is you're stagnant or you're slow, you're going to have to put a lot more energy into it. And I can tell you where you pull the energy from is your want to or your desire. So a lot of times I've seen different books that say that taking responsibility is the first step. And then I've also seen that having desire is the first step. Okay, in different books. So desire is how bad do you want it? Like, you can imagine when this Damon, how much he took a beating, right? The one thing he was not willing to do was get raped. He said you can only take so much, and he said that he wasn't going to take. It was fortunate that the fight, that the raping normally took place in the shower where there's no cameras. I guess they don't want the guards looking down there at naked people, you know what I'm saying? So I guess that's why they got no cameras in there. But that was the play. Also, he said it steamed a lot. Did he say there's no cameras or you couldn't see because of the steam? I think he said there's no cameras because of the steam, because you just steam up and be a waste of time anyway. So that's where he was willing to kill the guy to keep him getting raped. You know what I mean? So in other words, his desire for freedom didn't go higher than that freedom. All right? Now, in that movie, I don't know if it's a true story, but what is that one of the guys in jail for? It's not The Longest Yard. The one where he finally gets out. Shawshank Redemption. That jerk got raped and still got out. You with me? But he couldn't avoid it, but he got out. And I like the way he just was going to get out. In other words, he said, I don't know if he said he was guilty, he wasn't guilty, but he said, I'm in jail. It's kind of like I can't say I caused the cancer, but I got cancer. I can't say, you might not want to take credit for being broke. Don't take credit for being broke. I don't care. You can just say it is what it is. But now we got to start saying how to get out. My man said, I'm going to get out of jail. And then Shawshank Redemption, he got out. This is a real life story about a guy who got out. So any of you, and you wouldn't believe the texts I have. I go, hey, how's Bobby doing? I go like, well, he could kill this, but he's listening to his fiance. He's listening to his family. He's listening. I'm like, you ain't going to get out of where you at if you don't start listening to the right people. Because it creates a momentum, or it creates you're either creating a break or it's creating a momentum. There ain't no it creates a nothing. Right. There ain't no it creates a nothing. The truth about change is there's always something. It's either growing or dying. It's being pulled down or being pushed up. And for goodness sake, if you're hiring people, you should be pushing up. Mm-hmm. You with me? It's a funny thing. I was talking to one of my young guys that's hiring people, and this ding-dong head he hired, he's just numb nuts, I guess I can tell you. Well, he's asking me, he's like, how do I deal with this guy? And I was like, well, tell me what happened. He said, well, we're scheduled to go on a ride-along, and then he didn't come in because he got a chance to get another dog or something. I don't know what it was. It was, you can consider that good or bad. Either way, we're supposed to go on a ride-along. If I'm supposed to go on a ride-along, I'm going on a ride-along. Well, the guy said, I'm going to get a dog, or I got to see a man about a dog or something. I don't know what he said. But he said, he said, I told him, I said, what is wrong with you? So my guy who's supposed to do the ride-along says to the other guy, what is wrong with you? I said, bro, don't say that, because you can't tear him down. He said, what do I say? Like, y'all should, here's what you should say. Okay, what time is that going to be over with? And he says, it's going to be all day. Like, okay, what time? Is it going to be like 7 o'clock tonight? Yeah. Okay, how about I get you at 7? What are you doing tomorrow? In other words, what's next? Don't chastise them for this time. Talk about next time. I'm telling you, I know I get mad at some people around here in my office. I'll be like, why did you do that? But my biggest thing is I try to go like, you can't ever do that again. You got to do this next time. So if a guy don't want to make phone calls, or he says, I didn't make but 20 phone calls. That's pretty good, 20. Let's do this. Let's have a better plan this week. Does that make sense? I'm not saying he had a bad plan. I said, let's just have a better plan. Because what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to schedule, plan, put on the calendar a better way to get different results. Like, when Jane had cancer, she called the person, called the doctor, got an appointment, actually, you know, a lot of people, they get in these things, they get sick, and they go, well, I got an appointment like in 8 weeks or 6 weeks. My wife, she ain't put up with that stuff. She's going to call somebody and get somebody that knows somebody to get her scheduled right then. You know what I mean? Some people they're procrastinating the solution. I was reading this morning that your time is so precious. Why would you spend your life, hours of your little tiny life, and I don't mean that you're a little person, I'm saying we only got a small amount of time to be alive, and you only got a small amount of time to be this age. Why would you wait to get the solution till later when we could find the solution now if there was a way to do it? Why would somebody do that? It's inconceivable to me, but people do it. Now, people say, and especially young people need to think this, I didn't always think like this. Here's what I started doing, is I started saying now and right now. You know how many people believe I've got it carved into my, or they don't believe I got it carved into my little hand. I got now on there and I got right now. I started saying that, and I have become that person that don't like to talk. He likes to do. And I'm telling you, if you want to start it, if you want to change, you want to start it, we got to start now getting your words right. So there's desire, there's admitting that you had something to do with it. If you don't admit that you got cancer, can you at least admit that you ain't done nothing to fix it yet? Or if you're poor, can you at least admit that you hadn't done anything to fix it yet? Can you at least say these words? How do I fix it? What do I do? Where do I start? What's the first step? People question when you ask. Have y'all seen them movies where a vampire come to the house and trick them to try to get them to invite them in? And they say they can't come in the house unless they get invited in. Y'all seen that, or is it just me? No. Yep. There's something about when you say you can come in, then they come in and kill you. Like, just don't invite them in. It's the same thing with me or Terry Edwards or Fitzgerald or Chris Long. If you will say, what do I got to do? How do I fix it? How do I make more phone calls? How do I get more leads? If you will ask, it frees up, it grabs our imagination, it grabs our attention, and then we'll go to work telling you how to fix it. But if you just stand there and don't ask, it's hard for us to scream at you. But let me tell the leaders this. To get people to ask it, what you do is you start talking to them, okay? Talk to them about their mama, talk to them about their daddy, talk to them about their dogs, talk to them about, say, you got any hopes, you got any dreams, you got any fears. Like, if you can figure out people's emotions and start talking to them, all of a sudden they'll slip up and ask you a question. I think that's the way the vampires do it on the movie too. They'll be talking to you about stuff about, hey, that moose horn up there on your desk right there, Albright, where'd you get that? And I say, come here and look at it. Oh, you done slipped up and invited them in. I like them when this vampire can move real fast too. That's funny. I like the Bionic Man without the sound effects. Okay.
These guys know that.
Huh?
Half of these people don't.
These kids don't know who that is. That is terrible. That's what I thought of. I thought of Steve Austin when I met Austin. I was like, he's a $6 million man right there, but it'd be a $6 billion man with inflation.
Yeah, I like that. I like that better.
You like that better? Okay. So your next thing, desire and admitting it, is start saying it. When I'm dealing with young people, the first thing I go like, just work on your words. Don't lie to yourself. Don't put yourself down. Don't lie. It's an integrity thing, and I start teaching them how to talk. I just got through talking to this young guy. He says to me, how do I create oh God, this is like a textbook. I want to punch him, and if you're listening, I want to punch you, but I want to kiss you too and love you. God, it's just so easy. But this stuff that I'm telling you is the truth and nothing but the truth. But you gotta avail yourself. You gotta get your head in the belief thing. Hey, I listen to this. What if there was a store where you could go somewhere and buy a belief? Like it had beliefs on the store, like I'm an idiot, I'm a numb nuts, I'm a double numb nuts, I'm never going to be nothing but a numb nuts, I'm going to be poor the rest of my life, I'm going to be average. What if you just had beliefs in there? Wouldn't that be crazy? How much they cost? It's a dollar store. Everything's less than $1. Is that the way the dollar store is? Everything less. Ain't there some stuff in the dollar store more than $1?
It depends which store.
Huh?
Depends which store.
It's kind of cheap anyway. I know that. This is not expensive beliefs. Hey, I got an idea. What if all you had to do was go to the store and it was free? But they had all these different beliefs in there. I believe that when I was a kid, my parents told me I wasn't no good, and that's why I ain't never going to be no good. Be like, don't pick that one. What if I could just walk with you and go like, no, don't pick that one. 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 Ooh, top shelf. I see it up there. I think I'm going to be great. I think I'm going to be big in this business. Get that one. Get that one. Get that one.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't that be crazy if you could just grab that belief?
But you might have to have some help on that. That's right.
Yeah, I'll get them a little stool, let them step up. Step up on it. Get on a step, grab what you want there. What if there was a belief store? What belief would you pick? What if beliefs were free? I just felt something. I just felt one of the young people went, ain't they? What if beliefs were free and you got to pick? And what if the option was, I'm going to get lucky. I'm going to get good. I'm going to be big. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to have a plane. I'm going to give away millions of dollars. I'm going to have the assistant. I'm going to have the chancellor come into my office and see my office, and he's going to see my stuff, and he's going to ask for more money from me. Like Andy, today. I guarantee they're going to ask for more money. I'm just going to tell you, I already got my mind right. No! I got to get these other stuff finished. What if you got to believe that for free? What if you could just choose that belief? Here's what happens. As soon as you believe it, you start walking like it, talking like it, acting like it. And as you act, things start to happen that starts to prove the belief that you picked for free. This kid, I ain't kidding you. And I'm going to talk about you. But nobody knows I'm talking about you, so don't get all crying on me. You like, nobody knows who I was talking to. I get texts from hundreds of people and talks to people. So they don't know I'm talking. They don't know I'm talking about you. Here's what he says. I feel down. I was like, I looked at my phone. I said, what the heck? That some guy just told him what to do. Because he had asked me 2 days before, or maybe even the day before, he says, how do I get people excited and moving? And I said, walk like Ric Flair, fool. See, Flair has a walk. He'd be like, oh, that's right. When he come in the ring, Bo, that joker kid, you know what I mean? And I told him, I said, you need to, don't walk slash, people don't like this. They're not going to get excited. Like if you said that old 97-year-old Krzyzewski on TV, that Duke coach, it'd be like somebody holding him up because he's about to fall over. But he's still clapping. You with me? And they're sitting on a seat like this, looking up. You don't never see a coach, a high-paid coach, lay back like this right here. I see people in meetings like that. I want to take my dadgum little bat out. That's what we call it, a little bat. Bam! That's what I want to do. But they don't want you to do that. Okay, so I told him, I said, you got to walk like this. And you got to say, woo! And say, I'm going to whoop the butt. I'm going to tear him up. I'm going to rip his arms off and beat his brains out with his own arm, blood slinging. You with me? I'm going to write 30,000. See, Mimi.
Talk about Mimi.
Mimi.
Talk about her, all right.
Mimi issue paid $37,000 so far this month. Says she's going to issue pay over $50,000, and then she said next year she's going to do $50,000 a month. You can pick those words. You can pick that belief, and it's free. And then if you'll just walk it and talk it and act it, it'll come true. People say you can't act. Yes, you can. So I'm telling this guy this, and I'm telling him how to talk to him. You got to, and I'll tell him. I said, here's what you do. You go to your people and you say to your people, say to me, I'm going rich. Will hit me with, I'm going to be rich.
I'm going to be rich.
I'm going to be real rich. I'm going to be hog nasty, stinking rich, baby.
Hog nasty, stinking rich. That's right.
That's right. See, he put the baby on there. And I said, you get him to say that. Now, if you're doing a group, if I say, all right, y'all all say I'm going to be rich, it's kind of ain't the same thing. It's one-on-one. Like it's just like if I say, bunch of dead-gum numbnuts, nobody really cares. But if I in your face, I go, you a numbnuts, that's your problem. That's offensive. You see what I'm saying? It gets more emotion going. So what I need for y'all to do is the people you hire, say to them, you can do this. Now you say it. Say back to me, I can do this. I'm going to book 20 appointments. I'm going to have, I've told Stephen Davies, I've told the Carries this. We, as leaders, need to have more leader talks. And not conference call talks, leader talks. Look at them and say, come here. Let me explain to you how this works. Number one, we got to fix your words. First, we got to fix your belief. Then we got to fix your words. And that's going to turn into your actions. Let's fix your walk right now. If I hire somebody, if I interview somebody, if they can't walk fast, I don't hire them. If I take off walking, I look back for them, I have ended the interview right there. I just forget it. The jerk can't walk. I ain't dealing with that crap. I used to say this when I was little. I said, I'm in a hurry to get to 55, but when I get to 55, I'm going to say this all the time. I'm 55 years old. I've seen it. I worked at a textile mill. I worked at Bojangles. Slow movers move slow. They don't all of a sudden start moving fast. Now, if going forward, you move fast, people are going to call you a fast mover. They're not going to call you a slow mover. But you can't do it one time. It's like that shower thing. You got to do it over and over again. And you got to say it and believe it. So I'm telling this guy that, and I think, man, I'm changed his life. He texts me 2 days later talking about I'm discouraged. I was like, I'm getting ready to go through my phone and grab him by the neck. First I called him up. I said, you still 28 years old? Yeah. You still got a pretty girlfriend? Yeah. I'm fixing to come through the phone on you is what I'm getting ready to do. I said, bro, serious business. I'm 55 years old. You're 28 years old. You whining to me? When I was 28 years old, I was walking in a textile mill wiping lint off my nose all the time, sucking up to Cheryl Taylor and listening to old stupid Blackman run his mouth and Dan Kingsmore, the president, the guy. God, people get on my nerves. I mean, come up to the president's office. I said, it's worse than the principal's office. Whining and then bunch of junk. You 28 years old, ain't got no job, girlfriend ain't got no job, because they make enough money. They make enough money, they ain't got no job. Got food in the house, got heat and air conditioning. I was like, boy, he got everything. He got everything. He got everything. And I was like, oh my God. And he's like, well, this is how I feel. I was like, get up and walk around like Ric Flair. Well, I don't feel like it. How many times, if Fitzgerald had been with me 2 weeks, I would understand. But he's been with me years. And I was going, how do you don't get? I asked him, I said, bro, do you think do you think I'm a miracle? Do you think I'm perfect? Do you think I'm Jesus or something? You know, somebody texted me that the other day. You ain't Jesus. I was like, no kidding. You don't even know, you just, what you see, you know ain't Jesus. What you don't see is worse. Like I'm not even close. But yet I walk like Ric Flair. I walk like Wahoo McDaniels. I walk like I'm Andre the Giant. I like the way Andre the Giant walked. That jerk come in like this right here, Bo. I never forget it. Andre had one little guy about a hair, a little person, about a hair, had known it. He started doing the helicopter, flying around like, he let one of them go. Whoo! That jerk was flying over the ring ropes and he grabbed the ring ropes and hung on. I was like, because he would have hit some people, because he threw him, Bo, just threw him. He said, what's that got to do? You got to act like you him. And I'm telling you, it's like that. You start walking and talking. So he got all excited and texted me back. Now, you could say this. Well, everybody needs some encouragement. That's true. That is true. I go to Jeff Bright sometimes and say, Bright, give me some encouragement. So maybe I'm gonna let him off the hook and say, but if he went 1 minute in front of somebody else, especially as hard as you work to get somebody started, and then say something negative or be depressed around them, Lord have mercy. That's, you know what I'm saying? It's like peeing in your cornflakes. That can't be a good thing.
That'll mess them up.
That is pee in cornflakes. That's a bad thing, right? That's probably offensive too.
You can't eat some cornflakes.
Okay. So here's what we're looking for. Here's what we're looking for. People like Billy Crane. We found Billy Crane. We did not make Billy Crane tall. He can talk too. He's a good talker. And Ada, his wife's a good talker. They're good talkers. So now all we got to do is get him to do this. You with me? But now first we found him. So right now, Billy has paid, what was his number? I saw it just now. $215,000 in life. That don't count annuities. So he's on up there with the company, but hadn't been here long. We need more like that. By the way, Mimi is kicking your butt, Billy. She has written, no, that's not true. That's not true. Mimi, Billy's ahead of you with $215,000, and Mimi is at $202,000. Janina Wilson is at $216,000. Where's that girl? I expected her to be up here too. Wood, Megan Wood. Now she's on there. I'm looking through this. What we're looking for this year is to have some new people go straight to $300,000 issue paid, straight to $250,000 issue paid, and I know how to do it. I know how to do it. We've got the people that can train them. But here's what the biggest thing you can get you to understand is, if you're brand new, if you want to write $200,000 this year, next year, and work here as a recruiter, you can do it. It's just, but you got to make your mind up that you want to do it. And it's just, and making your mind up is believe it or not, this writing something over and over, like if you write out your goals over and over, believe it or not, that would make a difference. Or just saying them over and over. Or you could do both, write them out and then say them, and write them out and say them every day. It's like if you've ever heard, I got all kinds of preachers. I had a preacher in here yesterday. What's his name? Michener. Mike Michener. And he said that couples that pray together, the divorce rate is less than 1%. It's like 1/10 of 1%. The power, and then you've heard other people talk about prayer. You pray for me, I'm gonna pray. The power of prayer, it's taught. Prayer is taught. You with me? So when you write it down and you talk it, it's like the power of prayer. It's like you're praying about it. So you say it, and what happens is the tone goes out of your mouth and into your ear. The Bible says that faith cometh by hearing the Word of God. And you say, well, my word ain't the Word of God. Well, didn't the Word of God say that I come to bring life, not death, happiness, not sadness? Didn't it say that? So when you're saying that, you're saying what it says, and that's where faith comes from, which is belief. So the words come out of your mouth that go into your ear, it drives the faith, and then you start the act. This stuff is not, this is not voodoo, this is not goofy. I'm telling you, this is like, you got to put some salt and pepper on your steak to get some more taste to it. You got to get some seasoning up in there, Terry. And people are like, I think seasoning is your imagination. It don't work. Bull crap.
Right.
Asia wouldn't be Asia if salt wasn't what salt's worth. Salt's worth a lot. You with me? These spices come a lot. That's a lot of the spices come from Asia. I'm telling you, it's real. This is as real as a brick. What I'm telling you, this stuff is like, it's crazy powerful. So, but here's
saying negative words out and they're believing them.
Exactly. They did the negative. They said I'm depressed. I'm sad. I'm poor, and then they act like it. And dadgum if it don't come true. I'm telling you, this is. But there's two things. I'm explaining this again, but I'm begging, pleading that the Allemans, the Careys, the Krause, you wouldn't believe how much you need to say this to Tim Long. You need to say this to Nikki. These words need to come out. We need it. There's two things. Communication. That's the top three problems we got. The communication needs to go out to these people in the correct way. And you know it, and I'm reminding you. And then for a new person, you're hearing it the first time. When you hear it tomorrow from Rogers, now you're going to say, "Oh, he's right," and then Rogers going to get you to repeat it back. So let's start. We got to start working. This is how change starts. This is the truth about change. This is the real deal. This is not no imagination or nothing like that. So you can act your way into a feeling, but it's hard to feel your way into an act. They say, try to smile. I can tell you all this. Each one of you try to smile. Not try, each one of you smile. Smile. Okay, now smile and see how you feel inside. You acted by smiling. Y'all ain't smiling. Some of y'all ain't smiling. I can see your face. Smile. See, that's an act. And that's an act. And then people say, well, that's faking it. How do you feel inside? Does it feel more real that you're happier, that you're smiling? Or is it just me? Okay, are all of you smiling? Raise your left hand if you're smiling. And you better be smiling. Okay, now don't raise your hand on the right unless it really has made you feel happier. How many of you think it's made you feel a little happier? Happier. All right. Now put your hands down. And one that didn't make a difference, who are you? Did somebody not raise their hand? All of you raised your hand? That was 100%. Okay, can you see how we acted our way into a feeling? Okay, so what happens, you act your way like you're cocky and confident. And then the feeling comes that you are. And as that happens, now you start to do. You do the things, like if I said, what would a top producer do? Top producer get referral. I had a guy said, guess what? I was on the call. I know I changed. I hope I changed him. I said, you doing ERSs? He said, that's one thing I'm bad at, so I quit doing it. I was like, oh my God! What? That's called talking in tongues, I think. I was like, I want to say, but so I was like, bro, I didn't. By the way, I wish you could see how I handle it. I didn't say, you numbnuts. I was like, okay. All right, going forward, would you be willing to work with me on going forward? He was like, yeah. I said, if I sent you some training, would you listen to it? Remember, that's what I said. Well, some of you heard it. I said, would you listen to it if I got Chelsea to send you a link that has a training? He said, yeah. I said, would you try to get better at it? Yeah. I was like, why do I have to go through this? But watch this. I didn't say, I ain't going to go through this. I said the words. I said you can do this. I said you're smart. You figured out the other stuff. You can figure out this. What would a top producer do? Act like a top producer. So then, only thing you need is, how does a top producer act? So then what you do is you talk a person through, how does a top producer act? A top producer does this. He has a calendar. He goes to his calendar and he looks at it and he picks a time. And he picks a time and he says, right here is when I will make phone calls. And he figures out about how long it takes a phone calls to make the number of appointments he's going to make. So if he's going to make 20 appointments, he knows that's going to take him 20 hours of phone calling. Or he knows it's going to take him 10 hours of phone calling. But top producers are pretty good at math with the calculator. Okay? Top producers know their numbers. Okay? Poor, pitiful, broke people don't know their numbers, or they don't think about their numbers and they don't talk about their numbers. All of that on top of it. Does this make sense? I'm just telling you. So if you got it, this is like a recipe. It's one of the things I like about this business. It's like a recipe for success. It's It's a system of success, but the way we get massive is somebody's got to repeat. Jacob, I need you repeating this. Clay, I need you repeating this, people. One-on-one with people. Get one guy. This people ask me this too. What's the success to getting a guy to a power of 10? How do I increase the stickiness? These conversations, practicing, say back to me. You let them say the words. We call it teach, listen, and correct. TLC. Give them some TLC. Tender love and care. Teach, then listen back, and then correct. Let them say the words back. Get them to say the words. But I can't do it one-on-one. My time, I don't have the time to talk to every single person and say these words and let them say them back. You tracking with me? So I need you to do this, Terry, and I need Niall to do it. I need Mike Paleo to do it. Believe it or not, you can't fake this. You can't trick this. This is stuff that's got to happen. Now listen, you don't have to know what you're doing or the science behind it, but it's got to happen like this. A lot of it I used to do before I knew that I was doing it, because the guy that hired me told me, he said, here's what you do. You talk to your people, you get them to say it back, you get them to start talking positive, you get them to start walking positive, you get them to start setting positive, you get them to look more excited, get them to look bushy-eyed and wild hair and crazy, and get them looking forward, get them making eye contact, and then get them to do the little things. You do the tiniest of stuff, and this thing will blow the lid off of it. Does that make sense? So what we're looking for, it's like, I'll tell you, this is one person. You could argue that he don't know or they don't know. Robert Sarge Wilson. This son of a gun has paid 300 life applications. And Sarge will tell you in a heartbeat, I had PTSD. Or sometimes he'll say he got it. I said, well, you need to say you had it, because you don't have the symptoms of it no more. But what I'm telling you is, Sarge will tell you he ain't Jesus. Sarge will tell you he ain't close to perfect. And I will second that nomination. I say, he ain't perfect. He's leading the freaking country with 300 apps, 389,000. I'm going to introduce you to this guy. You want to write $380,000 and make a fortune? Now, my man ain't wrote no annuities, so I'm gonna say, Sarge, this year you're gonna write 5 million annuities. I'm gonna get Sarge. I'm gonna get him on the phone. I will get him on Sarge, because he's 5. I guarantee you he can write 500 million. 5 million annuities. Debbie Ben told me, she said, I'm gonna write 5 million. Now you know what she's doing? She's asking me who to talk to. She said, I done said I'm gonna make 500 million or 5 million annuities. Who am I gonna talk to get that information? So what I'm telling you, Sarge is beating y'all like a dadgum drum. And people say, well, he ain't hiring more than I am. He's not hiring more. Maybe he is hiring more than you are. I don't know how many you hired. He hired some. Minerve wrote 313, 242 apps. Michelle Allman, 306. What we're looking for is more people in that 300,000 this year. Does that make sense? And then what we're looking at is getting more people that we don't even know to write in 30,000 a month. Like brand new people. Terry, you hear what I'm telling you? Like this Eli guy and this Antoine guy. There's no reason on earth for him not to do it other than this simple stuff that I want. The only thing that I hadn't went through is the instructions on how to make a phone call, how to act when you get in the house, how to get out of your car when you get to the house, where to sit in the house. That stuff I hadn't talked about. Y'all know this stuff, but we got to get this stuff first. We got to get this base concrete. We got to get the foundation laid with more people, and it happens instantly, but we got to do it again. It's not going to, we can't do it with them just one time. We have to reach up to them, Clay. We have to set that expectation by getting their words right, and we got to get the new people not only to a power of 10, but a power of 30,000 a month. What's that guy's name right there? Brandon. It ain't that complicated. There's a caveman could do it. As a matter of fact, Sarge would tell you that me and him are close to cavemen. We're about that messed up. You don't believe it because we dress up and take a shower. But you ought to see us when we get up in the morning before we had a shower. Especially if we're hunting and it's been 2 or 3 days without one. We're a mess. It's not complicated stuff. So this year, Jerry Burbage, that son of a gun, he ain't had, listen to this, fell off of a ladder, broke his back, messed it up, and the doctor said, you need to get something where you push a pin and you ain't pushing a hammer. You need to be a pin pusher. Like that girl said the other day, my husband, he's more of a physical guy. He does physical stuff. It's physical, picking up a pen. And this son of a gun is leading, he's written 187,281 apps. Is he doing the annuities? No annuities. This year, Jerry ought to write $2 or $3 million worth of annuities and make himself an extra $40,000, $50,000 cash. If I was coaching him, Andy, I would call up Jerry, talk about his family, talk about his little girl, talk about his wife. I'd get him when he ain't looking, like the vampires. I'd get him like the vampires. I'd get him when talking. Next thing you know, he said, "What do you think I can do better?" I go, "That's funny you said that. Tell me that you're gonna write $3 million worth of annuities. Like, just say it." Okay, all right, well, that's good. Now that you said it, and this is just Andy Riddle talking to Jerry. You with me? Now that you've said it, what are we going to do? He said, well, let me think. First thing I need to, and he'll start writing down, I got to talk to this person. I need to get this audio, and I'd get him to read this book, and I would just hammer him on the basics. What would a top producer do? What would somebody do? Listen to me. What would somebody do if they were going to be a top producer? Set question, what would they do if? Like if somebody said, hey, Andy, I want to kind of run your company. I want to move up and I work here. If it's a staff person, what would a person do that wants to do that? Does that make, it's not what would you do? Because see, people go like, I'm poor, I'm pitiful, I'm stupid, I'm numbnuts. Okay, so that's who you are. You're right here. What would the person do over here that's good? And then what you do is you act what this person's doing. Just like that. All right. I feel a little bit like I'm screaming at you because I really am. Because I want to scream at my buddy. I want to tell you, this is for the leadership more than anything. Terry, power of 10. So if you get this guy to a power of 10, we're going to give him more money to Good Samaritan bonus. But I got to tell you, if this person leads you to this person and they do a power of 10, Andy Riddle, well, we were looking at his numbers. He said, Andy, you know, a lot of times, he said, when people look at my 276, I don't know if he's available, I might get him on the line real quick. Y'all hold on a second. This would be worth something if I can get him on here. Hey, bro, sorry I missed you. I'm gonna call you right now, Riddle. Hold on a second. Y'all hold on a second. Try to don't mess it up. Because we had the biggest, I'm calling you, Riddle, pick up. Riddle, yeah, hey. You were telling me some numbers, because we got on the phone with Mike Owens. How much, you said all the people, what is your base, how much is your base a month now?
My base is about 70,000 a month.
Okay, so 70,000 a month. So if you can manage a 10% spread, that's $7,000. If you're a 20% spread, 14,000 a month. Not bad, right? Well, if you could work yourself up to 100, you could have a 30-point spread. Now you're making 21,000 a month. That's crazy, ain't it? Like that. This is his base outside of his big people. But what was created this year, talk about, in other words, he hired a bunch of people, and people saying, well, he didn't get anybody going. I go, don't be dumb. That's not the way this works. The report shows you how many people direct to him got started. A lot of times, it's not the person you hire, it's the person under them. And a lot of times, it's the person under them. Well, you get credit for volume and commissions, but you didn't break a power of 10 person. Does that make sense? So tell them some of them numbers you was throwing at me yesterday, Riddle. Like you said, you laughed. You're like, hey, don't think he didn't get as good a results as he wanted, but don't think I didn't get results, right?
Yeah, I mean, in November, I just got the numbers on my desk today for November. We did 33,000 off of the recruits off of that 200 and some. And I have about a 60% spread off those people.
That makes sense? So don't feel sorry for him that he didn't get as many people to the power of 10 as you think he did. And then you start having a negative thought that it don't make no sense to hire that many people. So Brandon Bill, you need to hire 276. Matter of fact, you might need to hire 300. Just telling you. Does that make sense? What would I give for a Klondike bar? And what would I give for another $30,000 a month in new business? What kind of check would I write? With a 60% spread, what about a 30%? What about a 10% spread? What would you give for a $36,000 income? I give you $36,000 right now for $36,000 a year. Because the first year I'm gonna make it back. And the second year I'm gonna double my money, and then I'm gonna triple my money, except for one thing. I'm gonna try to grow the $36,000 income to $50,000 with just a little bit more effort, with a lot more talking like this. How about that Jerry Burbage guy? Is he from another time?
He was late last year, so he went full time in January.
And what's his group right now? Is his group, does he have a group?
Yeah, they do roughly about $30,000 a month in production. That was not considered in the number I just gave you, though.
So that's a width he put in. Terry, you understand what I'm saying? It's like, what I would tell you, Terry, is you need to hire a bunch more people. What I'd tell ABTF, y'all need to hire a bunch more people. Yes, you got to get better at handling new people, but equally, maybe 10 times more important is hiring a bunch of people. Does that make sense? And then not just hiring a bunch of people, but getting under them immediately. Yes, we need better connection. Yes, we need better communication. Like, it's more of a round ball than it is just, you got to do this from now on. Now, it's like the desire and admitting it's your problem, and then acting, walking, talking, energy, excitement. All those things go together to make this thing undeniable, to make it unflawable. You cannot mess this up if you do this. If you don't do this, it won't work. Like I'm telling you, it's like giving you the combination to the safe. Hey, so Andy, was Jerry direct to you, or did somebody hire him?
Jerry was direct to me.
Okay, so that was one power of 10. He goes to power of 10, right?
Right.
Out of that other 30,
he wasn't my power. So Jerry's girlfriend, or soon-to-be fiance, soon-to-be wife, most of the business is written through her. She was his power of 10 this year, not mine.
Oh, I got you. So in other words, but you did hire Jerry direct.
Correct.
And then he hired his girlfriend.
Right, and they write most of the business under her number, and so she got the power of 10 this year, but that's Jerry's power of 10, not my power of 10.
Y'all follow what I'm saying? In other words, building your business by putting people in depth and going deeper. But you can't, all the contests I run are to point you in the direction of success. But you got to understand, you don't care. Like if I hire you and you don't do anything and this guy writes $10,000 a month, you're right, I don't get my power of 6, but what do I care? I'm building a business trying to get crazy richer, right? So it's based on volume. You with me? Volume and structure. So I want to get that out because everybody was asking me about Andy Riddle, and I want a higher percentage than he's got. Like for example, if Mimi hired, what was her? She hired 13 and she got 4 people to the power of 10, and then they're all writing $3,000. That's 12. I would way rather have 30,000 than 12,000 if I had no power of 10 people. But the bottom line is, the way we get paid is structure and volume. The question is, how you going to get it? And I'm telling you, rather than trying to sit back and get gooder, you better off hiring every dadgum body you can possibly hire and throwing that lottery ticket. It would be like studying where to buy a lottery ticket because this gas station ain't had a winner in 3 years, so I'm going to buy them there because they rotated around. Or watching a red come up in Vegas and say, oh, it's about time for a black number to pop up. Like, come on, man, seriously? It's totally random. So it's the same thing when you're hiring people. You'd be better off hiring a lot of people than trying to get great at working with people. People say, well, don't you want to get great at people? Yes, get great at working with people, but hire a lot of people. Does that make sense? Like, it'd be like if you buy a lottery ticket, you buy a lot of more lottery tickets, you do have to scratch it off. You got to scratch it off. It's the same thing with people. You got to scratch it off once you hire them. So it's that combination of helping them, but you got to go through the numbers. The people, I know this, the people that go through the numbers always get the results with us. That's just the way it's always been. Guy booking appointments, same thing. We had a couple people that they've just been terrible, booking 10 appointments, but the guy that's booking 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2 every week, not getting gooder. The guy that's writing, like Andy Riddle, will be the best getting person started person this year because he hired so many last year. Because he's trying to get better. He's not trying to just hire and not get better. So that would be to say, like, if you bought the most lottery tickets and you're going to scratch off more lottery tickets. Come on, man. Who would not scratch one off? But people do it. They buy them and never look at them. I know it sounds crazy. It's like buying books and not reading them. Okay, I hope this helped on change. That is the truth about it. And I hope we see a lot of change this year from people. We love you. It's a big year coming up. Big week coming up. Is this a week before Christmas? It's the last week before Christmas. If you was thinking you was going to make some money before Christmas, this will be the time to do it. Love you. Bye. We're out. I'm out.